my first Flosstube. I'm not nervous anymore because this is my 4th time filming it. Yeah. Now I'm just more frustrated and but whatever. My name is Amy Charles. I have been watching Flosstubes for a few years now, at least 2, and feel like I've gotten to know a lot of my favorite people that I watch, but it's one-sided because they don't know me. Like, I comment on their videos, but they have no face to put with the name. So I finally decided, okay, it's my turn to jump in and reciprocate and make some videos. So I thought I would start with Whimsy Daisicle's list of Know Your Needleworker questions. So first off, where do I live? I live in a small village, population 2,000, which we just barely reached, south of Zurich, Switzerland. We have lived in Switzerland for 20 years. We've lived in this village for 16 and a half. I love it. It's close to the big city, downtown Zurich, if we ever want to do anything there. Go to the movies or do big shopping or do, pretend to be tourists. But we live in hills. There's lots of forest around. There's a lake, like just behind the hill behind my house. Lots of farmer fields. I buy milk from the farmer across the road and eggs from him. But anything I need is in the town 5 minutes down the hill from my house. So we really, really like it. Do I have any... Oh, what do I do for a living? I was a full-time mom for many years. 4 years ago, I got a job at our local library. It is a combination public library and school, a primary school, elementary school library. It's only open 10 hours a week. I share those 10 hours with 3 other coworkers. We do work extra hours during the week when it's closed to the public. That's when the school classes come in. I teach 3 of the classes, and then there's other. So we have 2 kindergartens, 2 combined 1st and 2nd grades, 2 combined 3rd and 4th grades, and 2 combined 5th and 6th grades. So I do both 5th and 6th grades and a 3rd and 4th grade, and I really like it. It's fun working with the kids, helping them find books and encouraging them to keep reading and keep looking for that book that's going to help them really want to read. So that's what I do. Do I have any children? Yes. So as stated before, I was a full-time mom for many years. I have 5 children, 2 boys, 3 girls. They are 22, 19, 18, 16, and 13. So they are, most of them are adults, and most of them, they all are pretty self-sufficient, which is fun. 2 live here with us, the oldest and the youngest. And the other 3 are in America going to school. I will explain more about that later. Do we have any pets? No. My children used to have fish. I was very happy when the last fish died of what I'm assuming is old age and not neglect. And we can't have any fluffy pets because my husband and several children are allergic. So we just pet the neighbor's cats and call it good. What are my other hobbies besides stitching? Well, I'm a big quilter. I love to sew clothes, although now I mostly sew alterations to clothes. But I have made like full-on dirndls for my girls before. Ties for my sons and my husband. Other dresses and skirts. And I like to sew little baby gifts, like little outfits for babies. Whenever a friend has a child. But, I also make cards, birthday cards, some, but mostly I'd rather spend my time cross-stitching and quilting, so I usually only make Christmas cards every year. But, however, I do make 120 handmade cards every year, so I haven't gotten rid of any of my supplies. I just don't use it as often as I used to. I also love to read. Of course, because I'm a librarian. I do crochet. I cannot knit. But as I say, it's okay. I don't have to do everything. It's okay if I can. I'll leave the knitting for other people. What is my favorite movie? Okay, I'm going to give the same answer for favorite movie, TV show, and music. I like pretty much everything. There are very few things that I really don't like. Movies, anytime we're watching a trailer and the first thing you see is all these like awards from film festivals, my husband and I just look at her and go, nope, gonna be too weird, nope. So that might be horrible of us, but I do, however, ones that I have on repeat are Jane Austen, the BBC versions, not the theatrical releases. I want the 6 to 8 hours where they can really go into the book and give you all the wonderful scenes and not the condensed version 2 hours. It's, the actors are always great, the costumes are always top notch, but they just have to leave out too much of the story and it's just frustrating. So I prefer the longer versions. TV shows, we watch a wide range of TV shows. And currently, the ones I watch on my own that my husband doesn't like, but that I really like are This Is Us and The Good Doctor. But we watch comedy, we watch thriller, we watch cop shows. Yeah, the only things he doesn't like are the medical gooey gross, which is why I have to watch The Good Doctor by myself. And as far as music goes, my favorite thing to do is have my children share their Spotify liked playlist with me because that introduces me to lots of new music. Most of it I like, some of it not. I will say, however, Taylor Swift has never written a song I didn't love. She's amazing. But I will listen to almost anything except for super heavy metal. I don't like long guitar or drum solos, but guitar solos are the worst, which is too bad because my husband loves guitar. He has 4 of them, but classical guitar is one thing, but that rock and roll guitar, when it just goes on and on and on, and that I don't like that. And rap. I like old school rap. A lot of the new stuff has just too many bad words. Makes me uncomfortable, I guess. I don't know. I just don't like it. Not my favorite thing. Plenty of other music I can listen to. What one word best describes me? My husband said effervescent. Isn't he sweet? Bubbly, friendly, outgoing. These are usually the ones. Kind of all the same thing. That's me. I have gotten slightly more reserved in my older age, but I am still pretty friendly. So that's that. Okay. Now, I'm going to mention haul. Well, I will almost never have haul on this Flosstube. Why? Because I live in Switzerland. There are no local needlework stores. There are a couple places pretty close by that I can get DMC floss for an arm and a leg. It's like $2.30 for one skein of DMC. I don't even want to know what they would charge for fancy floss if they even had it available for sale, which they don't. And I will go up about once every 18 months or so to the Zweigart factory in Stuttgart and buy a bunch of fabric and sew on that for the next while. But I only have so much space to store it in, so I have to wait until I've used up quite a bit before it's worth the 2-hour drive to go up and spend more. But when my children who live in the States come home for Christmas and for summer vacation, I will place orders online and have it sent to them, and they will bring me stuff. But I feel like Christmas is too far in the past to show you what they brought me, and summer's a little while away. So it's just easier to say, I will rarely have a haul. I do a lot of freebies. I like to do PDF patterns, but again, I have so many patterns from my mom's old collection of cross-stitch magazines that she gave me, and the books that she had, and newer patterns that I'm working on that are bigger things, that I don't have an urgency to get all the new stuff. I'd much prefer to stitch what I already have. It makes me kind of anxious when I've got too many things. It's my hobby, and I don't want to affect the family budget for my hobby. I think it's great when other people have all kinds of fun stuff, and I love to look at it all. But it makes me feel anxious in my stomach when I think about having that many project bags or that many patterns. Yeah. So, better for me to keep it small and down to twice a year. Okay, so then I will move on to previous finishes. I will do my most recent finish, and then I will do my oldest ever finish. So first off are these adorable pillows. All the designs but one are from Hands On Design. This first one is the only one that is not from Kathy Haberman's blog, Hands On Design, but it was another freebie. I love this one. I love the way they did the thin back stitch and then the thicker font. I think it's just gorgeous. All these buttons are from my extensive button collection. I didn't feel like it was necessary to add much trim to these. I just wanted to have some cute little pillows to go on my tiered tray. Now, funnily enough, I am a kind of stitcher who likes to stitch in the season that is current, which means I started stitching these Valentine pillows like a week and a half before Valentine's Day. That's what helps me get in the spirit of the holiday, is to work on a cross-stitch pattern that matches that holiday. This trim right here, I was gifted a box of trims and tatted crochet lace and all kinds of things from a friend. Her mother had that collection. She had died and she gave it to me. And so where I can, I try to put a little piece here and there on some of my stitched items. So that's where that one came from. Again, this one as well, this right here came from that collection, and then these buttons are from my buttons. This funny story about this pillow, I meant to stitch it on, this is Swagart fabric. There is a mottled side that's printed on, and then the other side is plain. Well, I meant to stitch on the mottled side because it was darker, and by the time I was 3/4 of the way done with this, I realized I'd been stitching it on the plain, lighter side. So then I took some of my card making pigment ink and rubbed some on there to make it stand out a little bit. It's just for, on my tiered tray, and when you see it in real life, you can see that it says love you. So I left it. I could have outlined everything in the dark gray like I did here, but it was too much trouble. I didn't care that much. It didn't bother me enough, so I just left it. And this might be my favorite because it's the smallest, and I love miniatures. I mean, come on. Look at that, how tiny that button is. Isn't that just the cutest thing ever? Oh, so cute. So, those are my most recent fully finished items. I do have a recent finish that is not fully finished. It is my Lizzie Kate Buzzy String. This was the last one that I had to do. I have all the others finished. And so I whipped up this one so I would have time to fully finish it before I needed it. I did change a few things. You can see here, there was green. Some of the letters were supposed to be green. I changed them to red. Also, there was supposed to be right here a flower. I changed it to a Swiss flag because we have American citizenship and we have Swiss citizenship. And July 4th is for America and August 1st is Switzerland's birthday. We celebrate both. We also celebrate Canada Day on the 1st. But I figured the red in here would suffice for Canada. So anyway, so that's what I changed on those. And the way I have these finished, I will show you that. I just took this down and put up the spring one. This is my winter one. They're all on some sort of gingham with rickrack around it. And then I have the other piece of this board that I bought at our Swiss version of Home Depot. And it's stained on the front, and then it's just plain wood on the back. I chopped it so it would fit, and then these have washers on the back, and with magnets I just mount it. Of course, the board that I use it on is smaller, and it fits better. This is leftover. I'll use it for something else sometime. So anyway, so those are my other strings. I did change the colors on this one as well. I made it more, I did use lots of blues instead of as much brown as they had, because Switzerland, we get a lot of snow on a good winter. I love snow, and it's always amazing to me how many different shades of blue are in something that is supposed to be, that is normally considered white. So I changed that, and I did add a bit of white and glitter floss into the white bits because I just thought that looked more wintry. Now, my very oldest, used to be fully finished, but not anymore, whip, or project, not whip, is this. Just so I have credit that this is I am a true old-time stitcher. 1990, baby. I stitched this for a then boyfriend. He is not my husband. We are not even on speaking terms anymore. Thankfully, when we broke up, he was a nice enough gentleman to return this to me because he knew it had taken hours and hours and hours of my life to do, and I'm so glad. The reason I have not completely, the frame was broken, got cracked in the move, took it out, but I haven't removed the matting, even though it looks really bad and beat up, because I love to play fabric chicken. And this is the most fabric chicken you can have. I hope you can see this. Can you look under that mat and see how there is only one row, people? One row of Aida blocks between the end of the stitching and the end of the fabric. So this mat comes right up onto the feet of those animals because there is no more fabric left. So I have to take this back to the States, I think, because it's a weird shape, and I'm not going to pay for framing prices here in Switzerland. Oh yeah. I'll do it in the States and have them make a new frame and just leave the mat because yeah, there's nothing else I can do with this. But I love it. One of my son's name is Noah, and so it's really cute that I made a Noah's Ark, and yeah, I really love it. Some of my French knots are getting a little beat up, but I'm super happy with it still. It makes me smile every time I look at it, and yeah, that's my oldest. And I saw Teresa Kitten Stitcher had that exact same one, and it just made me so excited that I have something in common with somebody as cool as her, that she also stitched that same design. Okay, now I will move on to current projects. I have 3 that I'm working on at a steady pace. I do have some other whips, not a whole lot, like seriously maybe 5. And I use them, I rotate them as I kind of feel like it as the season hits. So, the most in-season one that I'm working on is, this is I only have the pattern because, again, I like ripped out from all the cross-stitch magazines to save space, all the cross-stitch magazines that my mom gave me. I ripped out just the patterns and put them in like a 3-ring binder in paper page protectors, not the pictures. Sometimes I do, but a lot of times I didn't. And so this will say Easter. It's supposed to say, the original pattern says Happy Easter in all these flowers, but that looked a little, that was too much. I thought, let's see if I can hold that up. That was too much for me. It was too busy. So what I'm going to do is I have a book full of a whole bunch of different alphabets, fonts, and I will just pick a cursive one and write happy up here in a solid color and then have the Easter. This fabric, I don't know what the count is. It is from Zweigart. When I went up there last time, I got a half yard of it. Thought it was pretty and would look cute on stuff. So that's what I'm doing on that one. It is there are so many color changes. So I'm going a little slower on this, but I think it's worth it. I think it'll look really cute when it's done. Another one that is slow going that I'm working on that's actually not even for myself. This is, okay, I had the book here the first 3 times I filmed this. No, I don't know where it is. Oh, well. This is, it's a Stony Creek. It is like Little Bo Peep. There are some buttons that go with it. My mother started this, and then she's kind of lost the feeling in the tips of her fingers, so she can't cross stitch much anymore. I hope you can see this. Let me put this back here. And so I'm finishing this for her. My plan is to bring it to her in the summer when I come, and then she can have it hanging in her house. My mother has stitched for years and years and years. She's the one who taught me, and she gave every single thing she stitched away. She has not one cross-stitched piece in her home that she made. So I took a few of her finished or started projects. This is one of them, and I'm going to finish them and give them back to her. Then when she sadly leaves this earth, hopefully many, many years from now, I will get them back. So that's what I'm working on. This takes a lot of concentration as well. It got lots and lots of color changes. So this is not a sit and stitch while I watch TV. This is a sit in my craft room in the day with a lot of good daylight and watch Flosstube, where I don't have to pay as attention to the plot. Just look up once in a while when they show a cute pattern and stitch. The project I'm working on that is a stitch while we watch TV at night is the Prairie Schooler Santas. I don't know if I was living under a rock, but I never heard about Prairie Schooler when I lived in the States. And I used to stitch. I was a cross stitcher back then when they existed, but I never heard of them. So now I'm going back. I fell in love with the Santas, looking at everybody's floss tubes, but I don't want to do all of them. That's too many to me. It's too overwhelming. And it's just not necessary. I'm not a kind of personality that has to have everything just to have everything. I want it to have meaning. So what I am doing are stitching the ones in the years that came out when Chris and I got married and when each of the kids were born. Then I will stitch some of the ones that are kind of crafty-like, because I'm a crafter, and those will go on I'm going to have a separate little pencil tree full of just cross-stitched crafty ornaments. But these ones will go on our actual tree. Yes, I made this bag myself. I make my own project bags. Not perfect, but they're happy. I am stitching these on, again, a 40 count nameless linen that I got at the Zweigart factory. I did them on 40 count so they'd be slightly smaller and look like an actual ornament rather than a big honkin' thing. They are so much fun. And again, there's such a simple pattern, and there's so much just solid red or, a bunch of white that I can easily stitch this while I'm watching TV. I have stitched 3 so far. This is the 4th one. And so then I have 2 more to do, and the family will be finished. So those will definitely be done in time to go on the tree this year. And I'm excited for that. And then I will probably, if the kids want, they will be able to take those with them when they move out of the house. And I will also make some sort of a Santa. I don't know if Prairie Schooler will still be making Santas, because they didn't for a while. But I will make some sort of a Santa for each of, their momentous occasions, so they can have a set of them. If they want. If they don't care, it's fine. I'll keep their Santa. It doesn't bother me. So, Okay, so since I won't have a whole lot of haul, I thought instead I would add to my Flosstube one crafter's confession and one fact about living in Switzerland to every video. So my crafter's confession, you may have already heard part of it, is I ripped out, tore to shreds, vintage For the Love of Cross Stitch by Leisure Arts magazines, and just nonchalantly tossed the rest of them in paper recycling. And when I am finished with a pattern, that's almost always where the pattern goes. Like the Lizzie Kate ones, I will save to if to gift to somebody past the stash if they want. But most of those magazine ones, which are most of my patterns, I stitch them and I ditch them. So that is my crafter's confession. That might horrify some of you. It might embolden some of you to not hoard. But you do you. And so one fact about Switzerland. I alluded earlier that my children live in, 3 of them are in the States going to school. So there is 2 tracks that you can go to in Switzerland. In 6th grade, you take a test. And if you pass, you go into the school that will get you to university. The university is subsidized by the government. It's very, very inexpensive. And so they don't let just anybody go. You have to earn it. Earn the privilege and the right. My oldest child and my youngest child both made it into that track. My oldest is attending Zurich University now, and my youngest is attending the Gymnasium or the Kantonsschule, which is the university track, but it's basically a combined middle school and high school. She'll go there. This is her first year, and she's got 5 more years after this, and then she'll go to university. My other 3 were in the track where you don't take the test or you don't pass the test to get into the university track school, and so you go to Sekundarschule, which is pretty much middle school. It's for 3 years. And at the end of that, when you are 16, school is only compulsory till age 16 here in Switzerland, and then you get a job. They do apprenticeships here. They have a great apprenticeship program, and you work and go to school for 3 to 4 years. You have a degree at the end of it. You often get hired at where you did your apprenticeship. Sometimes you don't, but it's a great program. If you know what you want to do. They have aptitude tests. They have counselors to help you talk it over with. And with all of that, still my 3 sweet middle children did not know what they wanted to do. Or, in the case of one of them, what they wanted to do required a university degree, but they could not get into university because they didn't go on that track. So we discussed it and decided that rather than choosing any apprenticeship and wasting 3 or 4 years of their life, and then when they were done with that, starting the apprenticeship for what they really wanted to do, they could go to America and live with relatives and go to high school and then either go to university in Utah or America or come back here and do an apprenticeship because now they were older and wiser and knew what they wanted to do. They are living in Utah. My oldest daughter completed high school in 2 years. She had to do a lot of online courses. She's amazing. She's now going to the Utah Valley University as a freshman there. So she's in her own apartment. Then the next girl is a senior in high school. She's been living with my aunt and uncle. We're from Utah, so my uncle's only 3 years older than me, and my aunt is 3 weeks younger. And so my cousins are her age. So she's living with my cousins and going to high school. And then my son is living with my husband's brother and his wife and their kids and attending high school. He just started. And it's tough having them gone, but it really has opened up a whole new world of opportunities for them. And it's helped them to get to know American relatives better because we see them so seldom. We go to the States every 2 to 3 years on average, and for 3 to 4 weeks. And so this way they're like really living there and getting to know them, and it's been really good. We FaceTime or text almost every day, make Marco Polo videos, so that really helps with the time difference. I'll wake up and the first thing I do is check Marco Polo and WhatsApp to see if they've left me any messages while I've been asleep. So yeah, that's the fact. There's a little about life in Switzerland, a little explanation of the school system, and I'll try to add something about Swiss life to every video to hopefully make it interesting and fun. And that is it. I will probably film on a 2-week schedule, I think, so that I have time to stitch and show you actual progress and not run out of things to say. All right, this has been fun. I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.